that's kind of, it would allow those two to move into the sunset and let the wealth of talent that's underneath them to come through and show what they can do.
Okay.
All right. Aidan, see you next hour.
A bit more in the next hour. Thank you very much.
And we are going to talk about Duolingo.
We are,
next, aren't we? The boss who uses a taxi test to vet new hires is saying that, well, apparently, as well, about the same boss is that talking about this 10-minute meeting thing as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
really interesting.
So we're going to get into that and much more in the papers with Christopher Biggins and Oscar Redrop. That's up next. But first, here's your full
Oh, sorry.
across some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. It's rather mixed across the Mediterranean for the next few days. Plenty of sunshine across Spain, the risk of some thunderstorms for Italy. Fairly cloudy skies on Tuesday across the Canary Islands, but plenty of sunny spells for Portugal, much of Spain as well, but frequent showers across Italy, some of these stretching across to Greece, but largely dry across Turkey and towards Cyprus as well. Some spells of hazy sunshine as we move through into Tuesday afternoon. The next few days also remain largely dry with sunny spells.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Bin collections are changing. Under the Simpler Recycling initiative, households in England will have 4 bins to make it easier to separate waste. In North Yorkshire, the council's already started rolling out the government mandate.
We've collect paper and cardboard separate, then we've got glass cans, plastic and all other recyclables in another bin, and then finally our general waste bin. And the idea is just by separating them, they're actually more valuable to us as an authority, and they're also more usable in the recycling industry. Good quality recyclers, they have a higher value, and therefore we can sell them for more. So therefore, in theory, we shouldn't have to put your council tax up, or we can spend that elsewhere on other things, potholes or wherever else it is.
Northallerton resident David Toon sees the benefit of recycling, but is apprehensive of the new scheme.
I see it as being a lot more faff, and I just think that whether it'll achieve anything, time will tell. If it works out, all well and good, you know. If it's not another different day, if it's all done, if it's not another day, so you have to remember to put this out that day, this out that day, and if they keep them together, it helps.
I've got no problem with splitting up recycling, but how many bins are you going to have? And then remembering which bins go out on which day.
I'm not up for another bin. I talk a lot of rubbish, but I'm not up for another bin.
With a new universal standard of recycling being implemented in every region, bin day should now be a breeze. But make sure to check what can and can't go in the rubbish or face a costly fine. Anna Riley, GB News, Northallerton.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at some of the newspaper front pages, shall we?
Yes, the Daily Mail leads with reports that Labour is set to move closer to the EU without consulting MPs or the public.
Indeed, the Telegraph leads on this. The Prime Minister is refusing to join Donald Trump's Strait of Hormuz blockade. That's set to come into force at 3 p.m.
The Metro says the government is tackling the oil crisis with a ban on deep-fried food in schools. We're going to be discussing that later on in the show too.
And joining us to go through what's making the news is Oscar Redrop and Christopher Biggins. Good morning, gents.
Good morning.
Morning. Well, shall we start off by talking about this Strait of Hormuz blockade? Because it's quite a big deal, isn't it? This is the second time the Prime Minister's refused to get involved in this war. What are the consequences of that, Oscar?
You're right to say it is very much a big deal. I think we've heard Donald Trump, and it's very hard to predict his language, keep track of it, but he has talked about kind of rating NATO nations by the assistance and the help that they've given. Weeks ago, he talked about guys like just go in there, go get your oil if you need it so badly, which actually was very responsible. This is very we can have a go at the Prime Minister, but it is a huge call to actually swing in and go on in there, particularly when it's contested. I mean, that's when you're actually putting people's, British troops, absolutely at risk, their lives at risk, and that is a huge, huge call. The reality is, don't get me wrong, I think we can all agree, the previous regime, them not being around is a good thing. The world, I still hope, when we come through this, will be a much safer place. And for us to have not played any role in that, really, I think is a shame. But nonetheless, this has to come to an end at some point. Yeah. We're in a worse position than we were before it started.
And we haven't seen regime change, have we? I mean, there's talk that this second Ayatollah, the son of the previous Ayatollah, is more hardline than his father was.
I know.
If he's in a fit position, we hear he's in a coma in hospital, so we don't actually know who's in charge in Iran.
Exactly. Iran is weaker than it was before the war, but its bargaining chips, oddly, in terms of this strait, are almost infinite right now.
And that is an economic chokehold.
Exactly, and that is a really dangerous position for being. We can have a go at the Prime Minister for not doing more, but then if you think about the alternative. I mean, it's
such a mess. That's the problem. A total mess. I mean, and I don't want any of our young men or women to go out and be killed for no reason at all. And it's disgusting what's going on in the world. But you're right, Ellie, there are other people, very, very strong people, waiting to come in Iran and in Russia, who want a situation which they're getting.
It's interesting that you say that, because Boris Johnson was speaking over the weekend saying that what we're actually doing by not supporting America is sending a message to Vladimir Putin and to everybody else that the West is divided.
Yeah, absolutely.
We as the West look weaker.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's absolutely true. I mean, I think we're at the weakest we've ever been, funnily enough, as a nation. And I think we're strong. We're good. But I worry the fact that we're an island, and we could be got rid of. Like that.
Especially these days. And do you know what also worries me about this as well, is that Donald Trump has really taken aim at Britain. He's really focused on attacking Keir Starmer and attacking the United Kingdom. And of course, it's quite symbolic because we've got that special relationship. So it's almost like a signal to say we're not doing this anymore. And we're going to need their oil soon. We're going to really need to buy the oil from them, considering that oil is not going to come from the Strait of Hormuz. We have to buy it from America. We're going to get punished.
Yeah, and this is the thing, whether you like Trump or not, if you like Trump's America or not, the reality is, right, that America is the only country ultimately that can keep the United Kingdom safe and protect us. And that is just a reality. And if Keir Starmer thinks, well, actually, maybe the EU can do that, he is so mistaken. He is so mistaken. And so I think that the kind of the sacrifice that's been made with our relationship with America is really damaging. And just very lastly on this, there's a very odd narrative that I think's got out, which is, and that the Labour Party and Starmer have done really well actually to execute, which is that, Kemi and Farage would have charged into, World War III and, troops on the ground, all this. No, actually, all that the Conservatives and Reform were saying was that we should have allowed America to use our bases immediately, not delayed. That's actually what they were saying.
Keir Starmer's used this as political theatre because it's the only thing that he's done that's popular.
Yeah,
and it's very easy to do nothing and be popular.
Is it going to be good that the King is going to go?
Yes, absolutely.
I think
it's
so.
needed.
Do you think so? Yeah.
It's absolutely
Dig us out of
what the King is for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Trump is absolutely absolutely taken by the royal family. So I think that will help enormously.
Yeah, that is their job, right? They are the leading diplomats of this country, and if they can't do that job, then obviously lots of people will question why we have them. And I think this is exactly what they're best at. They are brilliant at diplomacy. The grandeur and all the things we do at the state dinners, people just love us.
Of course.
That's what we're all about.
We should never lose that, ever.
Yeah, I totally
and it
agree.
couldn't come at a better time.
Yeah.
Biggins, for people listening on the radio, they won't see your wonderful outfit. So smart. So we're going to change tack a bit and talk about where you were last night.
Well, I was at the Olivier Awards. Can you see that?
Yes.
Which I have to
program with you, yes.
It's a fantastic event for theatre. And last night it was the 50th anniversary of the awards, and it was absolutely superb. It was brilliantly done, very, very coherent. You knew exactly what was going on, and it was hosted by Nick Mohammed. Do you know Nick?
Yes.
From Ted Lasso.
Yes.
And numerous other things. He was brilliant. But there was a very funny, if we can go all the way through the show this morning, I'll give you bits and pieces of it. But what was so good, Helen Mirren last night and Ian McKellen did the first award, and it was for the best revival, which was won by All My Sons, which I don't know if you saw, was absolutely brilliant play. Arthur Miller at his best. Very good. But it was they came on, Helen Mirren and Ian McKellen, and they were lovely. They looked gorgeous, got a wonderful reception, and then Ian McKellen said, "It's no use, I can't really auto-cue." I can't see, my eyes are bad. And so then she had to keep whispering to him. It was so wonderful to see those two great people do
British
it
greats.
badly.
British greats, but sometimes badly is actually quite entertaining.
Yeah, it is. It's very entertaining.
So much British talent. And Rosamund Pike, it was a wonderful night for her.
Yes, well, I saw that the first night last week, and she is fantastic. Really, really
I think
great.
anything she touches turns to gold.
No, she's
fantastic.
And this is a real tour de force.
Yeah. Oh, well, Biggins, you'll be telling us more about that.
I will.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing more. Oscar, good to see you again. We'll see you also shortly. It's time now for the Great British Giveaway. The clock is ticking on your chance to win 25 grand in tax-free cash and a new 4-berth motorhome.
Yeah, it's a fabulous prize, isn't it? Worth over £92,000. Here are all of the details that you need.
Make sure you don't miss out on your chance to win big. One guaranteed winner will drive away with a brand new 4-berth Benivan 122 camper van, just in time for summer. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, this stylish home from home comes with all of the features you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £67,000. Alloy wheels, solar panel, and pop-top bunks for an optional sleeping area. You'll also get an additional £25,000 in tax-free cash. Our next winner really could be you. So secure your place in the draw today. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, hopefully, it's better weather this week, isn't it? We had a gorgeous few sunny days last week.
It was a tease. It was teasing us.
It was a tease, but summer is coming, but I don't think it's going to happen this week, unfortunately.
Should we find out?
Greg Dewhurst has got all the details for you. I think it is going to start a little bit chilly today.
Oh, well, Greg, give us some good news, please.
Very chilly.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Box Toilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. A chilly start out there, but plenty of sunshine. But the shower clouds will get to work once again, and it will be another day of April showers. So plenty of sunshine across the UK first thing this morning, but rather chilly. And temperatures rising as we go through the day as that April sunshine gets to work. But that will help bubble the clouds up, and we'll see a scattering of showers developing. Some of these could be heavy at times as we move through into the afternoon with some hail and thunder. Temperatures generally reaching 11 to 15 Celsius. So if you avoid the showers, it will feel fairly pleasant in the sunshine. Into the evening time, those showers continue, though they do start to ease across England and Wales. Frequent, though, for a time across parts of Scotland. Again, still a little wintry over the higher ground. Temperatures around 5 or 6 degrees in places. And Northern Ireland seeing a mixture of sunny spells and showers to end the day. Some of the showers still heavy across northern England, but further south you are across England and Wales, more in the way of dry weather around to end Monday, just a scattering of showers around, and they'll ease as we head through the rest of the evening and into the early hours. So for most of us, it will become dry overnight, lengthy clear skies. It will allow the temperatures to drop and a patchy frost to form. However, thicker cloud and outbreaks of rain, some stronger winds will start to move into the far west and southwest. Minimum temperatures not far off freezing again in the north and the east where we have the clearest skies. But that means a sunny start to the day here. Cloudier across parts of Wales, the West Country, parts of Northern Ireland as weather systems slowly push north and eastwards through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across parts of Scotland, eastern England. But even here it starts to cloud over as we move through into the afternoon. The wind's picking up, coming in from the south, so a fairly warm direction, highs approaching 15 or 16 Celsius towards the southeast.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A8 is partially closed at Baillieston roundabout due to essential overnight roadworks, and drivers should follow the clearly signed diversion routes to avoid delays. In Stoke-on-Trent, the A50 eastbound remains shut at the junction with the A521 at Blythe Bridge West after a vehicle fire, with traffic conditions expected to gradually improve between 7:30 and 7:45 this morning. Over on the trains, South Western Railway reports that disruption is continuing between Leatherhead and Wimbledon, impacting several scheduled services. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Time is ticking on your chance to win our biggest prize of the year so far. One guaranteed winner will drive away with a brand new 4-berth Benivan 122 camper van, just in time for summer. You'll also get an additional £25,000 in tax-free cash. Our next winner really could be you, so secure your place in the draw today. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
So we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/you're the same. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. President Trump's blockade at the Strait of Hormuz is set to come into force in just a matter of hours.
10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil.
And the Prime Minister resists pressure to join the operation after it was revealed the average household will be £500 worse off thanks to the war in Iran.
Can the United States pull off the blockade without the backing of its closest allies?
And is another Brexit betrayal underway? Well, Labour is accused of planning to sign up to EU rules without giving MPs a say.
A new chapter in Hungary. Viktor Orban concedes defeat to opposition leader Peter Magyar after 16 years in power.
Did you know the average worker spends a quarter of their week stuck in meetings? Well, we're going to be meeting the man who visited a company that's refusing to hold meetings longer than 10 minutes.
A school dinner shake-up. The government moves to ban certain foods from school menus. We're going to be revealing what's being served up in schools across the country.
It's game on in the Premier League title race. Manchester City eased past Chelsea at Stamford Bridge yesterday to cut Arsenal's lead at the top to just 6 points. At the bottom, Tottenham's defeat at Sunderland in Roberto De Zerbi's first game in charge leaves them in the bottom three.
A lovely but chilly start this morning. Plenty of April sunshine, but will it last? Find out all the weather details coming up soon.
Good morning. It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Yes, good morning to you all. And it is a Monday morning without Eamon Holmes, I'm afraid. He was meant to be back here after his Easter break, but we got a phone call, didn't we, on Saturday morning to say that he had very sadly suffered a stroke. He's recovering well in hospital, and he did put out a message yesterday on his social media saying that he's going to get well soon. He shared a lovely photo, didn't he, of his granddaughters.
Have we got it? Hopefully we can show it, actually, if we've got it.
I don't think we can, but he's shown beautiful pictures that they've drawn for him, wishing him better. So his whole family is behind him, and we, his GB News family, are behind him too, and we are wishing him a very speedy and a very full recovery. There's Declan there, his eldest son.
Wonderful stuff.
So,
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, and he put out a statement yesterday saying that the whole family are really thankful for all of the support and the love that you've sent. We've had so many messages in, haven't we, Alex?
We have, yeah. Your say has just been full of love for you, Eamon, if you're watching. Francis here says, good morning, Alex and Ellie. Firstly, we send all our love to Eamon and wish him a speedy recovery. We've watched him from the start on ITV through to now. TV would not be the same without him, and couldn't we agree more with that statement, Francis? Thank you so much. And of course, we also have had a lot of love, even from the government. We've got Wes Streeting. I think we can play a video of that.
On behalf of myself and the government, I just want to wish Eamon Holmes well, and hope he makes a fulsome recovery. We're all thinking about him.
So the whole nation is behind you, Eamon. We are wishing you a full and speedy recovery, and hopefully you feel better soon.
Certainly are. Moving on. President Donald Trump has caused chaos by announcing that the United States would blockade any and all ships attempting to use the Strait of Hormuz.
United States Central Command has warned that the blockade of Iran's ports in the Strait will begin at 3 p.m. after attempts to secure a ceasefire in the Middle East collapsed.
Well, in response, a spokesperson for the government has confirmed the UK will not join the blockade of Iran's ports, saying they continue to support the freedom of navigation in the Strait.
Well, it comes as the latest analysis has found that households will be left at least £480 worse off this year because of the war with Iran. It's a huge strain, isn't it, on household finances?
It's going to be, and they're going to have a massive shock here, not alone because we're the only G7 country that has no sovereign oil reserves. Did you know that? It's incredible. We're going to be in for a real shock coming soon. We should hear more from Senior Research Fellow at the UCL Centre on US Politics and author of US Grand Strategy and the Madman Theory, James Du Bois. James, pleasure to have you on the show this morning. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
What are the... I think we can talk about America and whether they've got a plan. However, what is the implication for Britain? Because it's not looking good for us in the next few weeks, is it?
Well, you're right, and I think that what the Prime Minister has done by deciding to ally himself against the United States is very much kind of writing himself out of history, because, you know, I know you've done a lot of work on this, and I'm in full agreement with it. What the United States, I think, is trying to do is to put together a coherent global strategy. It has a lot to do with energy access. The United Kingdom needs that desperately. The figures you've just mentioned in terms of the impact upon the United Kingdom are going to be profound. And very clearly, the Prime Minister's made a very distinct political decision to stay out of this. The US, I think, was determined that they would get drawn in, use the Royal Navy for exactly the operation the President's now talking about. And I think there'll be a great sense of disappointment, to put it mildly, in the White House, which will have a knock-on effect in terms of our relationship with the US.
In terms of what we're going to see today, James, this blockade is going to begin at 3 p.m. our time. This is a very dangerous operation, isn't it?
It is. Anytime you have naval vessels in close proximity, that's a problem. The number of global conflicts which have begun because of maritime incidents is concerning. It's also important to remember semantics count here. Donald Trump has called it a blockade. I'm sure the Prime Minister and the Attorney General will be the first people to tell you that a blockade is technically an act of war. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Kennedy administration was very mindful to call it a quarantine, not a blockade. It's the same thing, but with different wordings. And just as in 1962, when Kennedy was focused on Cuba, his bigger picture was Berlin. And here I think that what you see is the focus is on Iran, but the bigger picture is energy and China.
James, but this is the thing we don't talk about enough in the media, and I'm a little bit hung up on it at the moment, because I think that everyone is missing the bigger picture. This is not about a binary win-lose for America in Iran. This is part of their strategy, which I believe is to completely transition the world from reliance on Middle Eastern oil to reliance on American oil, because, of course, they are going to now, after taking Venezuela, which wasn't just for fun, they now control the country with some of the largest oil reserves, perhaps the most largest oil reserves in the world. We're going to have to go cap in hand to the Americans very soon. At the same time, the Prime Minister has now twice refused to help the President of the United States, and he's been attacking us successively on Truth Social.
Well, you're right. I mean, this is a series of own goals, I think, by the Prime Minister. He talks about doing the right thing. Quite frankly, I think he's doing the right thing for his own domestic electorate, but certainly not for the national strategy and the national interest. You're right. I think so much about what Trump is doing. For the longest time, he's had a series of very defined interests. The idea that the United States negotiates poorly and that Iran was an existential threat to the United States. By moving into Venezuela, trying to acquire Greenland, moving into Iran like this, is a deliberate attempt to, I think, assuage the growing energy crisis, which is going to grow up because of the demand for AI in the near future.
Where do you think this leaves the special relationship?
I likened it to a house which has got decent foundations but a warring couple living within it. And if the warring couple move out, the house still survives, unless one of them decides to implement the Samson approach and bring the house down with them. Donald Trump could well do that. We've not seen that before. We've had falling out between prime ministers and presidents in the past, but nothing quite as spectacular as this, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and when we talk about if we were to get involved in this blockade, we've just seen in the last week HMS Dragon having to go to port because of course, this issue with fresh water coming on board. We're just simply not prepared either way. Even if we wanted to get involved, we've got 3 ships available. Is that right?
It's woeful, quite frankly. One thinks about the strong heritage of the Royal Navy, and this is where we've been reduced to, calling upon the French to aid us in the Channel. I mean, it's a national humiliation.
It really is.
And it's compounding itself day after day, I'm afraid.
What would our capabilities be if we wanted to help out? We've got minesweepers in the region.
There's very clearly there are technical assets in the region. Also, the United States is rapidly moving assets into the region as well. It's been building that up for many, many months. Quite frankly, what the British can offer at this point might be political support, moral support. That's important, of course, but I think Starmer's going to use this as a way to get greater access to the EU and reverse Brexit.
Yeah, that's another big story today, isn't it, of course, about the EU. But sticking on this theme of the war, now there is a lot of talk, and we're seeing massive amounts of movement of American aircraft to the Middle East this morning. So we do see that this war is likely to heat up again. I think it's rather anticipated. Do we expect to see boots on the ground now? Because that is the only real way you can secure the Strait, if that is what Trump wants to do.
Well, I think the most obvious focal for that would be Kogi Island, where the refinery elements are. I think the idea of a land invasion of Iran is not something that the president is anticipating at this point. His whole career has been very much focused against the sort of George W. Bush nation-building approach of the early 2000s. To reverse that at this point would be to absolutely destroy his entire credibility in terms of what he's campaigned on through his entire career at this point.
Elsewhere, we've been hearing from Turkey, haven't we? Turkey's president threatening to invade Israel over its continued bombardment of Lebanon. How serious is that threat, do you think, James?
It's the first I'm hearing about it, if I'm very honest about it, but any attempt to invade Israel would basically mean effectively declaring de facto war on the United States, and that's something that nobody should be contemplating at this time.
Yeah, we're in a really rocky waters internationally. I think this is we've just got a live tracker here of all the vessels in the Strait. You can see that little loop there. If any of you watching at home, is that little bend you're looking at there, where it's pretty much empty. You've got vessels on either side, literally lined up to leave. Now, Donald Trump is of course saying not a single vessel will be able to leave or enter that Strait. This is 1/3 of the world's fertilizer travelling through here. 20%, I think, of the world's oil supply.
Yeah.
The other part of this is that China gets 45% of its oil through here. And guess who is in tariff negotiations with a very difficult Chinese government? Happens to be the United States, doesn't it, James?
Well, you've nailed it again, and I know this is a point you've made very succinctly last week. This is very much, I think, the focus. I mentioned earlier on, during the missile crisis, everybody was focused on Cuba. Jack Kennedy realised that Berlin was a bigger issue, and I think we have a similar situation here. Everybody's focusing on the immediate focus here on Iran, but the bigger picture, I think, is the energy supply through China and what that's going to have an impact on, and the ability of the United States to try and control that. You've seen a similar image, I should point out, of vessels going into the Gulf of Mexico / America of late in an attempt to access fuel reserves on that part of the world as well.
Interesting stuff.
James, really good to get your analysis this morning. And your book is out next week?
The 5th of May.
5th of
Look
May.
forward to reading a copy of it, James.
Pleasure
Pleasure to have you.
Thanks, James. Now, just coming up to 12 minutes past 7, let's take a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom this morning.
Sir Keir Starmer's under pressure over the Chagos Islands deal after it was dropped from the next parliamentary agenda. Well, the Conservatives say the Prime Minister must admit the agreement is effectively dead, but ministers insist talks are still ongoing. We'll be talking to Shadow Business Secretary Andrew Griffith about that at 8 a.m.
Deep-fried food could be banned from school menus under new government plans. Sugary desserts would also be limited, with more fruit and vegetables required. It's what ministers are calling a major overhaul.
And job satisfaction for prison officers has fallen to its lowest level in 15 years. Unions are warning of a vicious cycle of violence, but the government says recruitment is improving and staff numbers are rising.
Now, a historic day in Hungary after Viktor Orban conceded defeat to Peter Magyar after 16 years in power.
Well, last month, GB News' Miriam Cates actually spoke with the now defeated Viktor Orban.
Last year, 40,000 people crossed the channel on small boats, even though we're outside the EU, whereas you've managed to control the situation from within the EU. What's the secret?
Determination. So if you decide that you stop them, stop them. So sometimes it's not the nicest job, but if you decide that this is our border line and nobody can cross it without our permission, you have to keep the line, and you have to do so.
Well, Viktor Orban's defeat comes just a week after US Vice President J.D. Vance backed the Hungarian president for re-election.
Go to the polls in the weekend, stand with Viktor Orban because he stands for you and he stands for all these things. God bless Hungary and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Peter Magyar, the 45-year-old leader of the centre-right TISA party, is now on to become the next leader as he's promised to repair relations with the EU and NATO.
Well, earlier we spoke with Hungarian journalist Ivan Nagy.
Yesterday was a historic day, we can say, in Hungary with such a landslide victory. In fact, it's the biggest victory in the Hungarian elections since the fall of the communism regime in 1989-1990. So it's absolutely a historic day. Whether it will have an effect in EU, yes, of course. Orban had his own way on the European Union. He was opposing a lot of things. He used his veto for several times. He also led the European People's Party's parliamentary group, forming its own group, the Patriots. Peter Magyar, it's part of the European people. Peter Magyar's TISA, it's part of the European People's Party group. He has got yesterday a lot of congratulation messages from the European leaders. We can feel in Europe a kind of euphoria, full with expectations. From the side of the leaders. They are very open to talk to him. The question is, of course, what Peter Magyar will deliver. What we know very clear is that Hungary needs so much the European funds, which were not flowing on the country for almost 2 years. We are speaking about billions of euros. The Hungarian economy it's really struggling. So there is a huge need for this money, and I think that even from this point of view, Peter Magyar will be much more cooperative.
Yeah, what do you think he'll be like as a leader? Because it is fascinating over here looking at the relationship between him and Viktor Orban. They go back a long way, don't they? In fact, Peter used to be a former official to Viktor Orban.
We really do not know yet. What we know is that he is a very good campaigner. He had a campaign with so much work, so much. He had very clear points, and actually he respected them. So one of these was that despite the pressure from a huge part of the Hungarian, we can say that Hungarian intellectuals to join its force with the opposition of the which were there.
Alex, you were in Hungary just, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I was on a press tour there. Really fascinating place because obviously they've done so much to defend their borders. They've got a land border with the rest of the EU, of course, from illegal migration. It's an incredible setup. I saw it all from start to finish. Amazing work. But the big question now is whether or not they're going to have to undo all of that to get this money from the EU.
Yes. And would the electorate want that?
No.
Surely not, because it's been so popular, hasn't it?
Yes.
0% legal migration into the country.
And you have to remember, this guy, Peter Magyar, has won on a ticket that is basically Fidesz, which is Viktor Orban's party, but not Fidesz. It's the same party with the guy who used to work for Viktor Orban, but without the name. There's no policy agenda. We don't know what he stands for, but he is backed by the EU. He's backed by people like Soros, who, of course, have got a very hairy reputation in Hungary. And so there's a lot of question marks as to what kind of leader is he going to be? Is he going to get pulled by the left? Because that's going to be a differentiator.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Somebody just got in touch saying, I feel like Hungary is about to learn a big lesson that will not benefit them. We're really interesting as well, alongside your perspective, Alex, also talked to Miriam Cates, who was in Hungary just a few weeks ago, interviewing Viktor Orban. You just saw a little bit of a clip there. So it'd be really good to get her perspective about how Viktor Orban's going to be feeling this morning, and also what this means now for Hungary. Yeah, there will be a lot of shocked people today, I will say that. Seismic, isn't it?
It's a seismic shift, and there's a big fallout here for the from the European Union, because of course they're very happy. Viktor Orban was a massive thorn in their side, so they will be absolutely ecstatic. Ursula von der Leyen was tweeting about it last night. She was clearly over the moon. So there we go.
And so many of you getting in touch on this story. So do keep that coming in. gbnews.com/you'll say. But for now, let's get a check on the weather with Greg.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. A chilly start out there, but plenty of sunshine. But the shower clouds will get to work once again, and it will be another day of April showers. So plenty of sunshine across the UK first thing this morning, but rather chilly. And temperatures rising as we go through the day as that April sunshine gets to work. But that will help bubble the clouds up, and we'll see a scattering of showers developing. Some of these could be heavy at times as we move through into the afternoon with some hail and thunder. Temperatures generally reaching 11 to 15 Celsius. So if you avoid the showers, it will feel fairly pleasant in the sunshine. Into the evening time, those showers continue, though they do start to ease across England and Wales. Frequent, though, for a time across parts of Scotland. Again, still a little wintry over the higher ground. Temperatures around 5 or 6 degrees in places. And Northern Ireland seeing a mixture of sunny spells and showers to end the day. Some of the showers still heavy across northern England, but further south you are across England and Wales, more in the way of dry weather around to end Monday, just a scattering of showers around, and they'll ease as we head through the rest of the evening and into the early hours. So for most of us, it will become dry overnight, lengthy clear skies. It will allow the temperatures to drop and a patchy frost to form. However, thicker cloud and outbreaks of rain, some stronger winds will start to move into the far west and southwest. Minimum temperatures not far off freezing again in the north and the east, where we have the clearest skies. But that means a sunny start to the day here, cloudier across parts of Wales, the West Country, parts of Northern Ireland as weather systems slowly push north and eastwards through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across parts of Scotland, eastern England. But even here it starts to cloud over as we move through into the afternoon. The wind's picking up, coming in from the south, so a fairly warm direction, highs approaching 15 or 16 Celsius towards the southeast.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, we are thrilled to say that GB News Breakfast has once again been nominated for Best News Programme at the Trick Awards. Breakfast have actually won this award for the past 3 years, and we couldn't have done it without you, because this comes down to the public vote. This isn't an establishment media award ceremony. This is all down to the British public. And
it's a people's vote.
Exactly. And we are so grateful that you chose us for 3 years in a row. We'd love you to do the same this year if you think we deserve it. All you need to do is scan the QR code on your screen now, or head to poll-trick.org.uk. Thank you so much.
All right, still to come. Have you ever been sat in a meeting and thought, this is going on for far too long?
Yes.
Well, yeah, we've all been there, haven't we?
Yes,
We've all
I'd say
been there.
most meetings, it goes on too long.
Most meetings are a
Do
minute
you
too
think?
long. 100%. There's always somebody who wants to waffle on like I'm doing now.
Or just has something else to say. There's no need.
Just
Could be an
two
email.
pence. Yeah, could have been an email. There's a great mug that says that. Well, we're going to find out about that next, because there's one bloke apparently who lets his company only have meetings for 10 minutes. Great idea.
Great
Make it
idea.
national policy.
Yes, we're going to be hearing about that next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're
the failure is
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get us on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What do you know? They are throwing things up the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dawberry, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in, the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages. Because the news is going to happen. So get a head start today. Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition. Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay. Because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
GB loyalty points are here. They're our way of saying thank you for spending time with GB News. Through commenting on Your Say, voting in You Decide polls and shaping the debate, you can earn GB loyalty points. Unlock rewards, reach milestones and climb leaderboards. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be part of them. Get started by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/loyalty points.
Well, I don't know about all of you at home, but do meetings just take over your work week? Well, you'd think so, based on the fact that the average employee spends more than a quarter of their week stuck in meetings. That is ridiculous.
That is bonkers, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
Imagine the work you could actually get done in a quarter of your working week.
Yeah, imagine the
if you
waffle.
weren't in meetings.
It's just waffle,
And
isn't
how
it?
much of it is relevant?
None of it. I don't remember any of the meetings I come out of. Thankfully, you've got all these like chatbots now that just to give you a digest of it. That's one of the most useful things
Just
of
read the
AI.
minutes, yeah.
Just read the minutes of the meeting.
Can you believe that some people are actually attending up to 14 meetings a week? And I reckon there's more than that. I know people in jobs who are just in meetings all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's not just frustrating, though. It is expensive, with an unproductive meeting costing the UK £48 billion a year.
What? That is ridiculous. Well, I think maybe we've already answered the question. Are meetings mostly a waste of money? Well, joining us now is Harry Wallop. Harry, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've just been giving out some stats there, Harry. Quite shocking the amount of money we lose in the country to meetings. It seems like we need an intervention.
Yeah, I mean, the money caused by unproductive meetings is a very simple calculation. It's the salary of the people in the room. And there is an idea, and some companies are adopting it, that when you book a meeting, you work out the average salary of the people who are going to be in that room or on that call, and you put it in the calendar. And that immediately sort of sets an alarm bell. Well, this might be £1,000 meeting or a £2,000 meeting. Or if it's a board meeting, it could be £10,000. Is this really necessary? What do we need to get to make sure that it's worth spending £1,000 or getting all these people together rather than doing what their main job should be? So yeah, I mean, meetings are a real issue and they've ballooned. Technology has made them an awful lot easier. So they've a lot of the bad habits of COVID have stuck. A lot of people think, oh, we'll just jump on a call. And of course, you know, in the old days, we would not have just jumped on a train to have a 15, 20-minute meeting with some clients. But now, because it's possible to do, a lot of us do it. And they're not all useless. You know, we ought to be clear, meetings do serve a purpose. Good meetings are great. You know, work can get done. It's just the bad, pointless meetings, the unthinking meetings, the regular weekly meetings, the catch-ups, I think people get really frustrated with.
Why are we so obsessed with meetings, Harry? I mean, as you say, some are very, very important. Others aren't even relevant. It seems as though people just put them in to, I don't know, appear busy or potentially appear important.
Well, I think, you know, first of all, there's always been an issue. This is not a new problem. It's got worse. But 50 years ago, a guy called Anthony Jay, who went on to co-write Yes Minister, the hugely successful sitcom, bizarrely, he was actually a management writer, and he wrote this very famous essay about how to run a successful meeting. And he pointed out that we've been meeting since the dawn of time, since before we could write. You know, the etymology of company is to break bread with, compound. So, you know, that's what we do. We gather around, we discuss ideas, and we assert status, as you suggest. You know, if you're a manager, the way to prove that you're very important is you can insist on having a meeting, and we all gather around. Now, some of the people around that table might also, it's their chance to shine if you're a junior employee, and it's a chance to sort of exert a company or organisational culture, you know, especially when many of us are working from home or working remotely. It's the only chance, really, to get a sense of what this company and organisation is all about. So I think that's why companies persist, or sorry, rather why meetings persist, why we keep on doing them, though we know at least a quarter of them or a third of them might be unproductive and a complete waste of time.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff, Harry, when you put it that way, because I hadn't thought about the human sort of hierarchy around all of this stuff, but it really